You know, when you hang out with people with guns that shoot at cops, you're likely to get caught in the crossfire.
New at 11, a Cobb County teacher under fire after those controversial comments on the Breonna Taylor case. She made the remarks during her virtual class at Pebblebrook High School.
Tonight, students are demanding action from the district. CBS 46's Sierra Cummings live at Pebblebrook High School. And Sierra, you spoke with the student who posted that video on social media.
Exactly, I did. Pebblebrook high schoolers wore black today to mark the end of Black History Month, but also because they were anticipating a vote from the Kentucky Senate that would restrict no-knock warrants. It was supposed to be a day about celebrating. Instead, some students say they were incredibly hurt.
What's her name, Breonna something?
Breonna Taylor. Students say they were honoring her during Friday morning announcements. That's when a teacher reacted in their virtual class.
I'm sorry she's dead. I really, truly, it's sad that she put herself in that position. But she put herself in that position by hanging out with somebody she shouldn't have been with.
CBS 46 is choosing not to name her because Cobb County School District has not.
You're in a school full of predominantly Black and Hispanic kids, and you decide to say something so insensitive. Why can't you keep your comments to yourself? Nobody needs to know how you feel.
Students like Genesis Crum want the teacher fired. Hundreds of social media comments are demanding the same.
I was very upset and hurt, and I felt like she was oblivious to the situation.
Crum emailed the principal this recording, who replied, "Wow, thanks for sharing this."
Now, when you hang out with people with guns that shoot at cops, you're likely to get caught in the crossfire.
The employee incorrectly identifies Taylor's boyfriend at the time as the suspect. Students inform her that cops were actually looking for her ex. Still, the teacher doubles down.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry she's dead, but they actually have proof that he fired at them first.
For high schoolers like Genesis, the comments are just as shocking as they are heartbreaking.
And I just felt like I have to fight for what's right.
Again, students were anticipating the Kentucky Senate to pass a bill that will restrict no-knock warrants. That bill did pass this afternoon. Meanwhile, the school district did give us a statement. We're going to put that on your screen. They said tonight the district is aware of the allegations, is investigating, and will follow any relevant district policy. As a district, we expect every member of our staff to treat each other with respect and understanding. I'm Sierra Cummings, CBS 46 News.
Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. Now, this teacher is charged with giving students, in particular, Black and Hispanic children who are predominantly enrolled in that school, giving them what they will actually give the world eventually. That's what nurturers and teachers are supposed to do. Give the children what they will give the world. Now, the statements she made were racist and insensitive because the students were honoring Breonna Taylor, paying homage to Breonna Taylor, and the teacher had no business, absolutely no business, saying anything about Breonna Taylor in a negative manner. Now, this is what people who are not supposed to be teaching at all, in all actuality, they really shouldn't be teaching Black children. For her to get on a virtual classroom and utter those insensitive remarks, she shouldn't be a teacher. She shouldn't be charged with giving any knowledge to our children. Now, first of all, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend had a gun permit and a carrier's permit that the state of Kentucky gave him. He went through all the necessary paperwork, procedures that everyone else who's walking around carrying a firearm had done. Now, white people's sentiment about black people are that we are inherited violent and inherited criminals, as if that is something that runs through our bloodstream and handed down to us like a family heirloom, when all actuality is that is the reality when it comes to their families. We don't have any pictures that can be shown of white people, men, women, and children being hanged and entire families standing around watching it with smiles on their faces. And it's a community event like a county fair, yet they're hanging black people like that. They used to advertise a public hanging, and everyone would come out like it's the county fair to witness the hanging. Now, the giant among men, Malcolm X, stated a reality, a fact, that only a fool will have his enemy teaching his children. Now, this woman had no business being in a classroom teaching black children, especially black boys. White women have no reason, have no business teaching black boys. Now, my son was considered hyperactive, meaning he wouldn't sit down. He was behaving like a boy. And they wanted to give my son Ritalin. And I told them, hell no, you're not giving my son any drugs. Now, just because a child think faster and move faster, you don't supposed to slow him down. The teacher is supposed to move faster and think faster and keep up with the child. You never tell a child, a boy child, to sit down somewhere. I mean, you could calm a child down, but to have a child just sitting down all day, every day, and not doing nothing and not jumping around is just outright crazy to me. Yet, white people, the sentiment is black people are inherently violent and inherently criminals. Now, when a criminal treat you like a criminal, it's just injustice. When they see us walking down the street carrying our firearms just like they do, they feel like we don't have the right to carry our firearms, even though we obtained the firearms legally. Now, there was a experiment done by a group of friends who were black and white. The white boy walked past the police with his AR-15. The police admired the weapon, had a conversation with the young man about the weapon, and the young man moved on. Now, when the young brother walked past the same police in the same municipality with his AR-15, apparently someone called the police and they ordered the young brother to the ground. They didn't ask him questions. They just automatically criminalize the young brother as if he didn't go through the same procedures, the same paperwork that the young white boy did to obtain his weapon. Yet, until they got to establish that that weapon was obtained legally, that young brother was ordered to the ground. And they probably would have killed him if he had made any false move. Now, that's the sentiment of white people when it comes to whether you're a young man or you're a senior, because they don't even respect our elders. They don't even respect our elders. Now, you would think that they would respect our babies and our elders. No. Whenever a police officer can choke a 13-year-old, I don't care if he's mouthing you, you do not put your hands on someone's child. Just put yourself in that parent's shoes on how you would feel if someone put their hand on your child. I know if someone choked my son, he'll have to see me. And we're not talking, because we're past talking once you put your hands on my child. There's nothing you can say to me. When you see me walking towards you, you may as well put your hands up, because we're going to be rocking. We're rocking. Now, this woman, and I'm saying woman, trying to be professional and trying not to cuss, she made some statements saying that Breonna Taylor brought it on herself by who she hang out with, her boyfriend. Now, Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend were asleep when the police came to their house or her house. And if you are asleep and someone's knocking on your door, like the police knock at your door, you are going to think the same as Breonna Taylor did and her boyfriend did. I forgot his name. They thought they were being victims of a home invasion. And Breonna Taylor's boyfriend did what any man would do who is thinking someone's breaking into his girl's home. He fired at the door, through the door. I would have done the same thing. And the police fired several times, hitting Breonna Taylor, murdering her. Now, they tried to criminalize Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend. They tried to criminalize her and blame the whole thing on her. And a police officer, a sergeant, was shot. And they tried to blame it on Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. Yet Breonna Taylor's boyfriend bullet didn't strike the police sergeant. He was hit by friendly fire, probably his own gun. But it came out that the bullet that entered the police officer was not of Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, his weapon, because they ran his weapon through ballistics and it didn't match. So that means either the police, can't aim their terrible shot, or someone was shooting indiscriminately, just shooting because they heard a gunshot, and someone was just scared, because most police officers are punks, especially the white ones. Now, I know there are some good police officers that I know personally, some brothers that I grew up with. I know them personally, and I know they're good brothers. They just happen to be police officers. That's their job. Yet most police officers, especially the white ones, are punks. They're cowards. They won't even approach you if they didn't have the weapons on them. If they weren't wearing a duty belt full of weapons, they would not approach you, saying anything to you. But because they're wearing their courage around their waist, and oftentimes when they do approach you or when they do put their hands on you, it's after they cuff you, which makes them a even bigger coward. Yes, Breonna Taylor boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired when the police knocked on their door, breaking down the door. They're not knocking, they were breaking down the door. And Kenneth Walker, the brother, shot through the door, and the police officers just started busting. They were just busting. And they hit the sister several times, killing her. This actually happened on March 13th, 2020. March 13th is my daughter's birthday. My baby girl's birthday. Killing the sister. And Breonna Taylor's boyfriend did what any protective, loving, responsible man would have done. He returned fire, hitting one of the home invaders, who happened to be a race soldier, a police sergeant. And they fired several times, and no one went to jail for it. The only person who was fired and got in any type of trouble was a police officer who was shooting, indiscriminately, and he shot into a neighbor's home. Didn't even shoot inside Breonna Taylor's home. Shot next door. And they tried the trick bag to say that they knocked and they identified themselves, but they didn't. They tried to get a neighbor to say they did, but there's no way one neighbor going to say they did and the rest of the neighbors said they didn't. We're not going to buy that. All of the neighbors said that the police did not identify themselves. They just went in and kicked the sister's door down and murdered her. Police are the biggest numbskulls on the planet. The ones that I'm talking about. They're the biggest numbskulls on the planet. They have no type of discretion. They do the most ignoramus of things, and they just act like they don't have no humanity. And they do the same thing that the regular racist white people do. They think black people are inherently violent and murderers and criminals when they display that behavior. That's their behavior. Every time you turn around, it's somebody white murdering someone or a police officer murdering someone, yet they always get in comment sections and they always making videos about how violent black people are. If we're just left alone, just leave us alone, we would get along fine. But most of our people, the ignorant among us, don't want to live without an open and consistent enemy. Now, I want to listen to what this so-called teacher said again to these students that she was supposed to be teaching, not giving her personal opinion, which she should have kept to herself. Yet, it's good that she said it because we need to know how these crackers feel.
You hang out with people with guns that shoot at cops, you're likely to get caught in the crossfire.
New at 11, a Cobb County teacher under fire after those controversial comments on the Breonna Taylor case. She made the remarks during her virtual class at Pebblebrook High School.
Tonight, students are demanding action from the district. CBS 46's Sierra Cummings live at Pebblebrook High School. And Sierra, you spoke with the student who posted that video on social media.
Exactly, I did. Pebblebrook High schoolers wore black today to mark the end of Black History Month, but also because they were anticipating a vote from the Kentucky Senate that would restrict no-knock warrants. It was supposed to be a day about celebrating. Instead, some students say they were incredibly hurt.
What's her name, Breonna? Something.
Breonna Taylor. Students say they were honoring her during Friday morning announcements. That's when a teacher reacted in their virtual class.
I'm sorry.
She should have just left it alone.
It's sad that she put herself in that position. But she put herself in that position by hanging out with somebody she shouldn't have been with.
CBS 46 is choosing not to name her because Cobb County School District has
Cave,
not.
bitch.
You're in a school full of predominantly Black and Hispanic kids, and you decide to say something so insensitive. Why can't you keep your comments to yourself? Nobody needs to know how you feel.
Students like Genesis Crum want the teacher fined.
It's good that everyone knows how she feel so they can get her from among their children.
Hundreds of social media comments are demanding the same.
I was very upset and hurt, and I felt like she was oblivious to the situation.
Crum emailed the principal.
She's not oblivious to the situation. She's just an ignorant jackass who knows that Kenneth Walker, her boyfriend, had a gun permit. If he had a gun permit, that means he's not a criminal. Cut and dry.
This recording, who replied, "Wow, thanks for sharing this."
Now, when you hang out with people with guns that shoot at cops, you're likely to get caught in the crossfire.
The employee incorrectly identifies Taylor's boyfriend at the time as the suspect. Students inform her that cops were actually looking for her ex. Still, the teacher doubles down.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry she's dead, but they actually.
And it's a damn shame those students know about the case than a grown ass woman who don't know nothing about the case. They were looking for her ex. They messed up. They were looking for her ex, who she was far removed from. She had moved on with Kenneth Walker, and they tried to get the postmaster general to say that contraband was at Breonna Taylor's home, and the postmaster general was not having it. He said they had no such conversation with Louisville Police Department. They tried to get the postmaster general to lie for them, to get involved in their foolishness so they can get away with murder. And then we had this Negro, Daniel Cameron, siding with the rogue, corrupt ass police department instead of doing the right thing. See, Kenneth Walker, he's supposed to be working for the people. When he go to court, any prosecuting attorney, when he present a case to the jury and to the people in the courtroom, they say the people versus whoever the defendant is. Yet he goes inside with the police officer. He need to be removed from being the state attorney.
You have proof that he fired at them first.
For high schoolers like Genesis, the comments are just as shocking as they are heartbreaking.
And I just felt like I have to fight for what's right.
Again, students were anticipating the Kentucky Senate to pass a bill that will restrict no-knock warrants. That bill did pass this afternoon. Meanwhile, the school district did give us a statement. We're going to put that on your screen. They said tonight the district is aware of the allegations, is investigating, and
now this teacher should be fired, because when they were honoring Breonna Taylor during morning announcements, that means the teacher is not supposed to go contrary to what the school was doing. She went total contrary and offered a personal contrary opinion on what the school was doing, because if the school were honoring Breonna Taylor, that's a particular curriculum, and she shouldn't have brought her personal opinion into that situation. She felt compelled after the morning announcements in which they were honoring Breonna Taylor, she felt compelled to speak to the students and give her personal opinion, which was insensitive and racist, and because it was done with a racist undertone, tone in general. And she shouldn't be charged with teaching our children. A enemy of yours should never be teaching your children, because they're going to poison your children's mind. We should never allow our enemy to teach our children, because they come out hating themselves and praising and loving their open and consistent enemy. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.